Let's talk some LSU recruiting because I got a question. Will it be a banner year for LSU recruiting at the wide receiver position? And you guys know I wouldn't be asking this question if I didn't think it could. So in today's video, we're going to break down this loaded wide receiver board at LSU. I got insider Shea Dixon on this video, and we are going to go behind the scenes. But before we do, LSU fans, do me a favor and hit subscribe to the On3 Recruit channel. This is the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. All right, let's get it going. Let's bring in Shea Dixon of the Bengal Tiger. And Shea, as you know, LSU has two wide receivers committed, Kenny Darby, Ja'Kai Anderson, both from Louisiana, both ranked in the top 10 in state. So how many wide receivers does Brian Kelly want to bring in this cycle?
You know, I think it starts probably in Louisiana with three guys they've offered. So you can at least get to that number. A couple of first-team All-Staters that you mentioned in Anderson and Darby are committed. Darby led the state in receiving. And then Jabari Mack's still out there. So you're at least at three. They're targeting some out-of-state guys, Josh. So I won't be surprised at all with the turnover they had this year and then what's presumed to be coming after this season at the wide receiver spot if they don't take five guys this cycle, but at least four.
All right. Well, big news this weekend. Boobie Feaster, the number 4 ranked wide receiver in America. He's from DeSoto, Texas. He was on campus this weekend, and his recruitment is heating up. How big, how important was this trip for Boobie Feaster back to the Bayou?
I think every trip is. I mean, he's a Louisiana native. He was wearing his 318 area code necklace on his visit. When I bumped into him whenever he was leaving and we were heading in for practice, or for after practice, I should say. But he came in, he watched a whole practice, and then moved on, did the Battle New Orleans, which a lot of guys were able to make their way to LSU this weekend before doing 7-on-7 stuff, which was split between Dallas, New Orleans. So getting him onto campus when he's already got a weekend like that is key. But again, look, Feaster is a Louisiana native. A lot of families still in Louisiana. LSU's recruited DeSoto well over the years, signing a number of guys out of that program in East Texas. So this is a legit option, not an option, but a legit target in terms of likelihood that you could land in the class, right? And when you look at the top 10 receivers in the country, a handful of them LSU's firmly in the mix for. I think most people would argue beyond Jabari Mack, Destrehan High's kind of final in-state guy for LSU, that Boobie Feaster might be the most likely top name at wide receiver to land in this class.
So coming out of this weekend, what are your thoughts on where LSU stands in this recruitment?
Look, I think it's going to be a battle. He's already set up a number of official visits. So we know that between the Texas schools, between LSU and between others that have recruited him, that his decision, because he was, remember, a 2027 prospect. Right. It seems like only yesterday people were like, this freshman at DeSoto, he's going to be next up. Well, he reclassifies. Now all of a sudden he goes into taking official visits in a few months. I was talking to his dad about that, just kind of in the blink of an eye. It's like the recruiting process when you take a whole year away from it, Josh, how quickly everything expedites. So he said teams have been coming after him twice as hard, but I think in his mind, when you reclassify, at least a small group of teams that you're really focused on. And I would argue right now, LSU's not just in the mix, but probably the team to beat.
Nice. So that being said, who are the wide receiver names that LSU would like to take a big swing at this cycle and kind of fill out this room with? We are going to be doing a live commitment in California this Friday. Put it on your calendar. In partnership with the Army National Guard and the Next Greatest Generation Tour, we will be on site at Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana, California. We've been on tour throughout the past month. This will be our 9th stop, but this stop is going to be unique as we feature the Uncommon is Calling live commitment of CJ Lavender. He's going to make his decision live from the campus of Mater Dei High School at the Army National Guard Team of the Year activation site with his teammates and family. Lavender is one of the top defensive backs in the country. He's excelled as an athlete both on the field and off the field during his high school career. They say iron sharpens iron, and that's the case at Mater Dei High School. They are the definition of excellence, 12-time state champion, best record over the last 10 years, and only school to produce 3 Heisman Trophy winners. They consistently rank number 1 in the On3 high school rankings. So Be sure to tune in to On3 Recruits channel on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, for the announcement of defensive back CJ Lavender live from the Army National Guard Team of the Year activation site.
Yeah, look, they really want to land Jabari Mack out of Destrehan. Destrehan is where all the Jeffersons went to high school, but you can go on John Emery to most recently signing Jace Thomas and Philip Wright, flipping him from Michigan this past cycle. Destrehan's very kind to LSU in terms of guys who go there and want to play at LSU. I do think Jabari Mack ends up signing with the Tigers, committing at some point after his visit. So that would be 3 in-state guys. They don't have any other in-state offers out right now. That's where you go to Feaster. If he lands in the class, you keep swinging for the fences. And I think simultaneously, while they recruit Feaster, we saw Joel Wyatt, the number 1 athlete in the country, come in from up in your neck of the woods in Tennessee. But from my neck of the woods, the number 1 receiver in the country, I'm an alum of the high school, Hattiesburg High, Tristan Keys. So South Mississippi guy in Hattiesburg. They've recruited that LSU, has recruited the Pine Belt area really well. They signed PJ Woodland out of Oak Grove 2 years ago. They just signed Tyler Miller out of Laurel, and now they're all in on Tristan Keys out of Hattiesburg. And look, pulling the number 1 receiver in the country is always going to be tough. They had DeCorian Moore committed for a while this past cycle, but also add to it, Josh, he's in Mississippi. That's tough to pull kids out of Mississippi. But where they do well is South Mississippi, because Baton Rouge is a closer drive to Hattiesburg than Oxford or State is, let alone Tuscaloosa or wherever else it might be. So they've done well to recruit there. They've been on him forever. Him and Boobie Feaster have been coming around since they were in middle school, it feels like. So we'll see where that one goes. I know a lot of people point to Tennessee, Bama, but LSU's firmly in that mix too. I think we're looking at a cycle, Josh, where LSU may sign 4, maybe 5 of the top 25 receivers in the country.
Wow. Hattiesburg High produces the number 1 wide receiver in America this year and the number 1 insider in America, Shea Dixon. So that's pretty cool. Tristan Keys, there's a lot of talk around him in Tennessee, but I kind of feel like the team that's just lying in wait there is LSU. Is there confidence behind the scenes with LSU and Tristan Keys?
I don't know if it's as much confidence beyond knowing they're in it, right? Like they've been in it all along the way. The minute that he said official visits, they got an official visit locked in. He's made tons of unofficial visits. He will be the next guy on campus to visit and watch practice of all these big names that we've talked about. And look, I'd be remiss not to say this, which I think is kind of an advantage built in for LSU here. A guy who's fastly risen in their recruiting department is Donovan Tate, who went to Hattiesburg High. And he's the guy that kind of got him in with PJ Woodland out of Oak Grove and got him in with Tyler Miller out of Laurel. So now you're at a high school where he played at and has recruited now for a while that he's been on LSU staff. But in the end, obviously, Tristan Keys is going to go where he feels like the best fit is. I think that Bama and LSU might be 2 to watch relative to, as you said, I think a lot of people just presume Tennessee's the team to beat.
Yeah, I kind of get that feel. The talk has just kind of snowballed with Tennessee. It feels like people are just jumping on, but we'll see. He has been out to Knoxville quite a bit. Let's wrap this wide receiver segment up with Shea. Will it help LSU to land these big-time wide receivers once they get a quarterback on the commit list?
I could say yes, but Bryce Underwood was committed this past cycle, and DeCorian Moore went to Oregon. They ended up signing in-state Louisiana guys, and that was even before Bryce was committed. Remember, they had all of those guys from Kalik Lockett to others on campus. Jamie French, you could keep naming them, and they didn't end up at LSU. And this is at a time when, this past fall, Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors were 2 of the best rookie receivers in the country or in the NFL, and Jaden Daniels was rookie of the year. So I think guys just are going to make their own decision, and we'll see. Look, with the portal, they took Van Buren out of state. He started every game for him a year ago. They've got Nuss this year, and then beyond that, it's quarterback. You never know what's going to happen. LSU's past 2 Heisman winners both came in as transfers. So I think these guys will look at, hey, which team really features guys, develops them, and gets them to the NFL. And I think that right now, LSU and Ohio State are up there, Bama, as teams that are very synonymous with wide receivers going to the NFL and having immediate success.
All right, LSU fans, you jump in the comment section. Who do you think is the most important target at the wide receiver position? Let us know.